Everybody wants to know what the moon is. Is it real? Is it fake? What is it? And why is it here? Well, we're going to answer that in this very important video. Hey guys, welcome back to Instructions for Humanity. It is your girl Tahirah. As you can see, I am in my moon energy right now. At least I'm trying to be. Guys, I was watching a video from Conjure Queen the other day. Shout out to her. I love her channel. I've been a subscriber for many, many years. And she was just having like a very real conversation with her followers. Like, what is the moon? Like, I think that was the question that she asked. What is the moon? You know, why is it here? I mean, a lot of people say that the moon is not organic to this planet. And I thought I would actually make a video about it because I received a message just about a week or so ago about the moon that I hadn't shared. So I thought that this was the perfect time to talk about the mysterious moon. The moon, guys, is the remembrance. The moon is not organic to this planet. We live in the world of duality. I think we can all agree. There's black, there's white, there's right, there's wrong, there's happy, there's angry. We live in the world of duality. We have the sun that shines in the sky. There must also be the polar opposite of that to make this matrix work. So the moon is, the first thing that the moon is, it completes the duality. It completes the equation of this matrix equation of duality. Now, just as we have an internal sun, we all have an internal sun inside of us. That is the light and the sun of God, where they say sun, S-O-N. No, it's the sun, S-U-N. And we have one inside of us. And this sun that is inside of us, it is the remembrance that you are source. It is the remembrance that you are light. You are everything just, and you are everything good, and you are everything righteous, and you are everything all powerful, and you are the spark of life, and you are what makes everything grow. That is what our sun does. It presents itself inside of us, so we always have that remembrance, right? So the moon is also the remembrance to thy soul. But it is what? The polar opposite, because we live in a world of what? Duality. So the moon, it makes us remember the things that we may not want to remember. And that's why the darkness gets such a bad name. That's why you get the nightmares at night, because you're having a remembrance, but it's not the happy and sunny remembrance that you are getting. It is the things that you are supposed to do throughout your whole entire soul's history. Guys, the moon remembers. It will not let up on you. The moon has its foot, so to speak, on your neck. Now, many people say that the moon was toted here. Yeah, it is not organic to this planet. I'm not going to get into all that in this video because I want to focus on the soul. I want to focus on the reason why we have the moon. It is to complete the duality. We have an internal moon inside of us, and it is a remembrance. It is a remembrance of all the things that we did that we don't want to remember. It is a remembrance of all the incarnations that you had, because I told you guys before, the moon records everything. It's watching everything you do. The moon remembers. And when I got this revelation about the moon, I actually received a message from a friend of mine. She just became a friend of mine. And the moon was actually part of the story, you know, about her and what was going on with her. And so that's how I got the message about the moon and how it remembers. And basically the moon is like, hey, remember that planet that you were on millions of years ago? Well, you still left some vegetables on your plate. This is what Spirit gave to me. This is the analogy the Spirit gave to me about the moon. You still left your vegetables, but don't worry. We brought those vegetables here for you to finish. That is what the moon does. It reminds you about the things that you don't want to do, but that are good for you. Now, what do I mean that are good for you? But you're thinking, if I don't want to do it, how could it be good for me? Well, just because you don't want to eat your vegetables, when you're a kid, you don't want to eat your vegetables, but your vegetables are how you grow. It's how you grow up to be strong and healthy. It develops your mind. It develops everything. It gives you radiant skin. It completes you, right? Whether you wanted to do it or not. And it's the same thing with the moon. The moon remembers. It carries that plate of vegetables that you did not finish. I don't care if you've had 10,000 incarnations. Everything that you left undone, the moon remembers. And it has carried it all here. And that is why the moon is here. So just as we have that moon that shines in the sky, and we're going to get into talking about the fake sun and the fake moon, and then we're going to jump into talking about the higher self and how the higher self is actually stopping you from breaking out of this matrix. But let's continue with the moon, our internal moon, when we go to bed at night. That's why you have all these dreams. Now, these dreams are the way we vent out from our subconscious mind. Because when we are in our sleep state, that is a natural hypnotic state. And the venting is good. So when you have nightmares, it's good. You know, you are venting out, you are reworking things. You are saying, okay, this is agreeable with me. This is not agreeable with me. We need to expel this from the subconscious mind. So that's how you get your dreams. But the moon is working with that. It's an internal remembrance that is working with the subconscious mind. I mean, because it is. The subconscious mind is nothing but your soul. It is your soul, beloved. So that is why at night you get all these nightmares, because the moon, which is you, which is inside of you, is bringing this stuff up through your subconscious mind. But it's really for you to deal with it, for you to vent it out, for you to rework things, for you to eat those vegetables that you left on your plate. So that is why the moon is here. Guys, you will be amazed. We are cosmic beings. We are cosmic beings. We are here for divine reason. The ones of us that are spark souls from the cosmos. There are some people that are just bots from the matrix. They just keep getting recycled and recycled, and they never get off of the wheel of time because they were birthed out of the heavens. The heavens is nothing more. I'm not downgrading the heavens. The heavens is nothing more than the astral realms. That's why there's that 7 layers of heaven, and those, it correlates with the astral realm, right? And we're going to get more into that when we talk about the higher self, deception. But this moon completes the duality. You cannot just be all light, for you would never know the darkness, for you would never rejoice in the light, for you would never know what is light. You have to have something to compare it to. Source is the largest mathematical equation that has ever existed and that will ever exist. It is forever expanding. And through our many incarnations, we are working out the equation. Source has to know itself in its own experience. Is this good? Is this calculation good? Is it good for the greater whole, for the expansion, for the preservation of Source? That's why you're here. You are working out the equation. Another thing I want to point out is how we say that this is an earth school. I've always said it since I started my channel. This is a school. But it's not that a school that you need to learn anything from, because you already know everything, because you are an infinite being. You've been doing this for eons of years. Let's say you go to nursing school, right? Well, you have your theory part that you do for a few years. Then you do your clinicals, where you go in and you actually do the simulation work to see if you can put to practice what you've learned, to see how practical is the theory that I've learned. Is it good? Is it copacetic for the greater expansion of healthcare, of source. That's what I'm comparing it to. So this is a school, not that you need to learn the theory part. It is the simulation where you go and you take that equation and we plug it into this matrix. And then we start acting out the formula. And that's why I don't believe in this thing called free will. There's only variables. There's only variables here. Because if there was complete free will, I wouldn't be sitting here in America. I would get rid of the imaginary borders. I wouldn't be following their systems, and you would be able to do whatever you want to, but you can't, because there is a system already in place that naturally puts you inside of the boxes. Once you are inside of those boxes, you have variables within that. The matrix is the same exact thing. There are variables. Once you take this dense body, there are variables. There's no longer the free will. We come from a free will universe. But down here, there is a free will in the sense where you cannot force someone to love you. You cannot force someone to do something for you. You cannot, be forced to, to do something for someone else, right? There's free will in that sense. But when there are already roadblocks and, sectioned off spaces already set up for the matrix, because this is not just a simulation. It's a simulation, but then within the simulation, it's like a farm. It's human farming. We are the animals, the farm animals, and the people, the elites that are watching from that bird's eye view. They see everything. They already have the perimeter set up. You can't see it because you're the animal. You can't see the perimeters they set up from their high position. So there's only variables inside of the farm that you're on. So I just kind of given you guys multiple examples of the limited free will that we have. So it's variables. It's variables is what it is. But we are going back to the free will because this earth was actually meant to be a free will section in the universe. But then, it got all hijacked and now we are stuck in all these matrices. But I'm getting off track, but I'm going back to the moon. Okay, let's go back to the moon. So the moon, you have to eat your vegetables. It's not going to let up on you. It's going to make you remember. And what I was getting at after I was talking about the simulation, the Earth School, you already know everything, but now you get an opportunity to do the simulation, to experience it. That is what Source does. Has to make us, we are Source, so part of us come down here, we become physical to do the simulation. Is this simulation good? Does it fit the equation? And then through our many incarnations, we are just, working out the simulation. Source is recalculating things, and that's how we expand. So I say that to say, going back to the moon, guys, I got fasting brain. I just woke up a few days ago and I was like, you know what? I'm going to jump on a fast. But sometimes, when you be on that fast, you be forgetting stuff. So I apologize for that. But nevertheless, the moon remembers. Okay, now I remember. See, the moon remembers. Now I remember. A lot of us came down here with very detailed instructions from Source. The moon remembers that. A lot of us came down here in these ethnic groups to do important work for the divine. We came down here in certain tribes. We were cosmic beings. We had plans from the cosmos, direct orders. But then when we jumped into, that's why I was explaining how, the matrix work and limited free will. When you jump into this game, into this matrix, it already has roadblocks and perimeters and a farm set up for you to play within. You get limited free will. And that is why your plans that the moon has brought down here for you to remember to do. Because some of us are on a divine mission directly from Source. But it's very hard to complete those things because of the matrix, right? But the moon still remembers those things. It remembers the higher level things that you were to do from the cosmos, your direct mission from the cosmos. It remembers that. And that is what I mean by you didn't finish your vegetables. You didn't do the things that you were supposed to do. You think that there's an accident. We have all these different, tribes and different, like I said, different ethnic groups. No, we're all different cosmic beings. We all have different cosmic families that we come down here to do certain things here. That is what the moon records. It knows, it remembers. The moon remembers. And when you go to bed at night, that internal moon is going to also remember. It's going to start to bring up things. You're like, I'm getting these weird dreams because it remembers. The moon remembers. And so you cannot just rejoice in the light. You have to have the darkness. It is the duality. It is the duality that we all have inside of all of us. So I could go on and on about that, but I just want to point out that that is what the moon is. The moon remembers. Now, I don't know when exactly this moon came here, but I know that it was toted here. It wasn't organic here. I know that it was toted here. And, there are multiple reasons for that. Just as much as we're inside of a matrix. But the matrix God still has to answer to source. Trust me, the matrix God is not doing anything that source will not allow it to do at this moment in time. So multiple things can be true all at the same time. So just as much as the evil aspect that the moon is recording us, yeah, it's watching everything you do. It's a surveillance. It's watching everything that you do. It's going to remember too. But then also too, if it also remembers, and it remembers the good things that you were supposed to do that you never did, that were going to bring healing to the earth, that was going to shake up things in the cosmos and was going to expand source, then it's good as well. Okay? So I want to point out something about the truth really quickly, because sometimes I'll get messages that are relevant, right? They're relevant for that particular time. And then 6 months, I'll get something that is what? The duality of that. It is the polar opposite. And it looks like, well, you just said this, or this person just said this, and now you're saying something else. Two things can be true at the same time. Let me tell you what the truth is. That's why I always say it at the end of my video. I never realized it until one day something just went off in my brain. The truth is the thing that you shine the light on. That is what truth is. That's why multiple people can remember a situation different. Be like, this person did this to me. Be like, no, you did this to me. They remember it different because the truth is what you accept as truth. It is when you shine your light on it, your inner sun on it, it becomes now what? In your awareness, in your state of awareness. It now becomes truth in your own reality. Meanwhile, there's other things going on around you. That's why we can get on these platforms and say things that the Matrix people have never heard. And they're like, you're lying. I never read that in a book. But once their inner sun understands, once their inner sun shines the light on that particular subject, they'll be like, oh my God, it is true, because now it has been brought into their awareness. That is what the truth is. The truth is anything that you shine your light on, because what? The darkness is when you work on things. That's when you're in the lab creating. But when you shine the light reveals what's been worked on in the darkness under the moon energy. That's why people, they do all these rituals and stuff under the moon. And then what? During the day, things manifest. They manifest in their life. That is the duality. It's not good or bad. It's just you could not have one without the other. So-called God and so-called Satan. You can't have one without the other. It is the duality. It is the duality that makes this whole experience what it is. So the darkness is important. The light is what reveals what was done, what was worked on in the darkness. When a mother, carries her baby for 9 months or so, the baby's in complete darkness. But when that baby comes out, it is exposed to what? Those bright lights. Those bright lights are bad, but, for a baby being born. But just saying that now it can see. But the baby needed the darkness to grow inside of mother. And then the light is what reveals what we work on in the dark. That's why they say if you want to accomplish something, go just disappear. Disappear from people. Disappear from people. Go into your own darkness inside and work on what you want to work on. And then when you emerge, when you show the product, when you show that thing that you've been working on in the dark when no one was looking, now everyone's like, wow, how fantastic. But you needed the darkness in order to get to that light moment. So it is the duality. And the moon just brings us that duality. It's just, it's that simple. And it remembers. It wants you to eat your vegetables. It's going to keep following you. And it wants you to do your shadow work, basically. Okay, took me 21 minutes to get around there. It wants fasting brain, guys. Sorry, fasting brain. It wants you to do your shadow work. So it's going to remember. It's going to bring up those nightmares. It's going to bring up the things that you didn't want to do, but you know that you should do. It's the shadow work. And that's another reason why I fast. Guys, the quickest way to heal if you're going through something, I don't care what you're going through. If you're going through something, the quickest way to heal is to fast, because it forces you to do your shadow work. Because you cannot just mask it with food, with alcohol, with sex, with other substances. You cannot mask it. It forces you to look into your inner moon. Because our inner moon is always speaking to us. But we keep shoving food down our throat and alcohol and all this stuff. And so we keep suppressing it. It's like, I'll deal with it later. I'll deal with it later. It's basically just procrastination. That moon is remembering, but the procrastination is what keeps you from doing the shadow work. But when you fast, you have no choice but to do the shadow work. You have no choice but to heal. It's going to bring up memories. It's going to bring up memories, and you have no choice but to deal with it, because you have no other ways to distract yourself. So the fastest way to heal, if you're going through anything, even physical things, emotional things, spiritual things, doing our shadow work, yeah, jump on a fast, a water fast, and you can heal. Okay, I'm switching gears here. Let me talk about the higher self. Should I save this for another video? Because I feel like this video might be getting too long. It might be getting too long. Okay, let me just go. Let me just say what I need to say about the higher self. So, a lot of people, they are all like talking to their higher self. That's a big thing now. And so, when it gets mainstream, it's no longer relevant to us spiritual people. When like Matrix people in television shows and the news start talking about it, then it's like, okay, really, girl, what is this? Let me tell you what your higher self is. Now, like I told you before about heaven. Heaven is nothing more than your astral realms, right? So there's different levels of heaven, the 7 layers of heaven, and then you got the ethers after that, the spaces beyond heaven that I spoke about in another video. So your higher self, this was your higher self. Your higher self has basically earned its stripes. Your higher self has earned its stripes. See, everyone in the heavenly realm, aka the astral realm, when you earn your stripes by the way of the Matrix, by the way of taking all these incarnations, you get a chair in heaven to sit in. Everyone has a chair. People have even given account to to this and during their like past life regressions or their near-death experiences. So I know this to be true. You get a chair, because I saw my brother after he passed, I saw his chair that he had. Everybody gets a chair. That's where your higher self sits. It sits on level 7 of heaven. And it's smoothing with the other higher selves. Because it doesn't want to come back down here and do the work, guys. So it stays up there. And guess what? If you don't mention it, if you don't connect with your higher self, if you don't find out about your higher self, it never exposes itself to you, because it's on a throne. Some people have actual chairs that look like, you know, king and queen chairs. Some people have like wooden chairs, nice like wooden embroidered details. You know, it's whatever chair you want, but nevertheless, it is a position and an honor from you being, you know, cooperating with the matrix all of these lifetimes. So your higher self sits there. It never tells you about this game that you're in, never tells you that you're in the matrix, never tries to help you unless you start to bother it and contact it. So this is how you can get things from your higher self. Once you know about it, once you shine your light on it, your inner sun, and it comes into your awareness, right? It now becomes truth. But see, you have to practically beg it, practically do all these rituals, pray to it all the time, you know, talk to it, you know, stroke its ego in order for it to help you. And even still, it doesn't help you all the way. It's still you doing the actual work. Your higher self is actually lazy. It is, because it could easily, it knows everything. It has the bird's eye view. It could easily get you out of your situation. It could, but it doesn't, because it doesn't want to. Guys, we are multidimensional. We can be in different places all at the same time. We are fragmented souls of the one spirit consciousness source that we all come from. So that's the aspect of you that is watching over this matrix game. It's keeping you in the game. So they give it a high honor. So that way, when you go to connect to it, it just coaches you through. You could do this, you could do this, you could do this, you got this. But it never tells you you're in the matrix and that, you know, your real home is in the cosmos. It doesn't tell you that. It just gives you a little bit, sends you on its way until you contact and bother them again. Don't you find that strange that it never says, how did we even find out about this? Nobody even knew about this for years. People have been suffering for years where their higher self just sat quiet, smoothing with the other higher selves and the lesser God in the fake kingdom of heaven. I told you guys before, God doesn't have a kingdom. God is the kingdom. God doesn't have a realm. God is the reverberation of everything that ever existed. God is the empty spaces. Source is the empty spaces in between all living things. You can't do without it. You can't. It's interwoven into every fabric of society and every fabric of the omniverse. So the very fact that this lesser God is saying that it has a kingdom, already, you don't have a kingdom. You're just a higher self sitting up there on your throne, not helping people. Just wanted to point that out in case you didn't know. It's funny. Yeah, you're going to get your mansion in heaven. That's what they always say. But if you're a spirit, you have no use for a mansion. It's like they want to lure you with all these material things to get to heaven. But that's how you know it's still part of the matrix. These are the material worlds that we're living in. So why are there material things that we have down here on earth? Why is there a library? And why is everybody given an account that they had these like huge Roman-like pillars in front of their house in heaven? Why do you have these things? Why do you have things? Why do you need things? You don't need it. You're supposed to be a spirit. You're supposed to be part of source. If you're really back with source, why are you still separate in heaven? It doesn't make any sense, guys. It's not real. It's the matrix. It's the Hollywood. I told you, they've put everything through the Hollywood machine. I'm from Hollywood. I used to work in film and television. I know. Everything, even our reality TV that I used to produce for, it all goes through the Hollywood machine. I used to write those reality scripts those things that are supposed to be real? No, it's all Hollywood. Part of it is real. And then you just build on top of that. And before you know it, it's whatever you coded it to be. That's why I had to leave it. It was not righteous. It's not a righteous way to live. I don't choose money over source, over my divine soul. I'll never choose money over it. And that's why this matrix can't sway me. And that's why they don't like me here. And that's why many people don't like me here. Because I can't play by the rules. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't play by their rules. They can't sway me. They can't lure me to heaven anymore with their trinkets. They can't lure me here on earth. No one can sway me and tell me they're going to give me something in exchange for something, because I need nothing. I know this is weird, but when I was a kid, guys, I used to rip up money. My parents would give me money and I would rip it up. And I'm not saying that money is evil, but I'm just saying, when you are connected to your divine self, to the one divine mind that we all come from, you're rich. You're wealthy. You have no use for money, material things. I wish I could be more materialistic. I wish I could. It would be easier to exist here. It would. It would. It'd be easier to get along with people that are on the same frequency. But I can't do it because I know the truth. My light has been shined on the truth. And I can't remove it now that I know what it is. So that's your higher self. So when you really want to contact your higher self, what it really is the one divine mind that we come from. Source is a divine mind. It is the one consciousness that we come from. So try to, you don't have to, you can still, your higher self will still work, and make that higher self work for you, because it's just sitting up there smoozing, probably drinking Manischewitz and eating some cheese and crackers. Seriously, with the lesser God and with all the other higher selves watching us down here suffering. But it never tells you, unless you start to bother it. See, I'm losing my voice. I don't even want me to say this. Unless you start to bother it every day, it's like, dang, I finally got to get off my chair, my beautiful chair, and do some work. Sad. But anywho, it's the one divine mind that we come from. So that's how I get my information. That's why when some information that I get, people are like, well, I haven't heard this before. Because it's not a channel. I don't really channel. I just get the information. When I sit down, I say I'm sitting down to meditate. But what I do is, this is literally how fast information comes. I sit. I breathe. And then I speak. It's just right there, because I just say, hey, I'm using my source line to get to the one divine mind. And we're going to talk about your source line and your source link in another very, very powerful teaching that I have coming up about the soul and how your soul does not travel here with you and where it actually is and how to access it. So your one divine mind, the one divine mind is your higher consciousness. It's the higher consciousness of everyone who is of light, because you could contact your higher self and you can get information and you can contact people from the heavenly realm. But those people are still inside of the game. So they're not going to give you certain things. They want you to stay here. They want you to stay here. That's why when I got the information that heaven was the matrix, you think that if I was channeling, if I was like talking to people in the heavens, you know, archangels and all that, they would tell me that? No. Their job is to keep us in here. They're here to help us too. We can talk to our guides and our angels and our ancestors. Of course, they are going to help us. If you ask them for help, they will be there. But they're not going to tell you you're in the matrix. None of them told you you were in the matrix. You had to find that out from just being online. Your spark soul from the cosmos, picking up on the new frequencies and being online. You had to do the work for yourself. They can't tell you that, because that's the limited free will that I keep telling you guys about. It's limited because you still have to play within the matrix, the guidelines of the matrix. So you contact the one divine mind. It is all of our higher consciousness. All of the people that are moving on with the expansion of source, that is the one divine mind. So it has the best data. It's all data, guys. It's all just data. It has the best data. So that's where I get my information from. It's just myself. Really. Because I am part of source. Once you really know you're part of source, yeah, you might look weird in the world because you have no need for money. You have no need for material things, because it's like, what would I need? What would source need with these things? So source would not need these things. I'm not telling you not to want things, because I do want things, but the things that I want, they're not what most people in the matrix want. They are things that edify my soul. That's what makes me happy. So that is your higher self. Let's see, is there anything else that I want to say? I might leave this right here for today, but I just advise everybody to jump on a fast. We really got to do our shadow work now. The earth has already been upgraded. A lot of us have already been upgraded. We're getting acclimated to the new frequency that the earth is on, that the cosmos is calling us all to for the divine purpose, which is the expansion of source, of ourselves. So jump on a fast so you can eat your vegetables, right? Because you will not have any interruptions. You won't be eating all those other greasy foods. The moon remembers, and it's going to let you know that it's time to eat your vegetables. And when you fast, you have no distractions. So all of those memories and all of those things you're supposed to do and all the information will just start oozing out of you. Those are your vegetables. And then you can now, when you're on the fast, you can now deal with them and eat them, work through them, and heal. So for today, I'm going to leave this all right here. But I want to say, please subscribe, please, and like this video, guys. Once again, my name is Tahirah from Instructions for Humanity. I love you guys. The birds, the bees, and all of the trees, they all love you too. Love is the way. Forgiveness, it's the key. And truth is the only light that will always, always guide us home. Be well. Be well, guys. Bye.